I'm all in the camera. All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to MindShift Monday. Hold on, let's get my hair want to be in the video as much as everything else. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Hopefully, the volume and everything is good. Let's go ahead and get these tentacles in order. MindShift Monday. We are definitely in the loop. Man, I don't know how to describe what's going on right now, but I know it's phenomenal. I know it's some powerful shifts going on. And more than anything, I just know that we better hang on tight because one way or another, we are going to get shifted into the reality that we should be in to operate in our purpose. So, with that being said, welcome to MindShift Monday. All right. If you are on Facebook, we got back on Facebook, y'all. So I'm glad we were able to do that. Again, we're also on Twitter. We're also on YouTube. So you can leave your comments below. If you have anything that you want to comment on, you can like, share, subscribe, or just view the video. And I hope you enjoy the content for today. Today we are talking about the vision, which we've previously discussed in past videos, past live streams. But we're talking about vision and the distortion of vision and rose-colored lenses, and how do we really see the world? Are we really seeing the world the way that we really need to see the world? Or are we seeing the world through a program, through somebody else's vision, through somebody else's perception, what someone wants us to think the world actually looks like versus the vision, that we don't want to perish with, the vision that we need to have to actually create the world and come into the world that is already prepared for us, or that we are going to be preparing, that we are preparing for ourselves and future generations. All right. So especially for the children, because they are coming in strong and they are ready, and we just have to make sure that we are bridging the gap, so that way everything is pretty much laid out how it needs to be, and they can take it from there. So again, welcome to MindShift Monday. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm still just assimilating from the day. A lot of things have changed since this previous Monday. And honestly, the freedom of being able to see the blessings that come in disguise, being able to recognize when you are being placed in your purpose. All right. This is dealing with the theme for today as well. Being able to see exactly how you are being placed in your purpose, to come into the visions, the dreams, the reality of where you truly need to be. All right. So if things are breaking down, if things are tearing away, if things are being released, if it feels like things are coming up inside of you, if it feels like things are falling away or coming together, even if it feels like things are just happening in synchronicity, if things are just unveiling themselves, letting you know that you are definitely supported, that you are definitely being guided, to move fully into your purpose, then lead strong. Okay. and learn through energy. All right. So, because it's always lead and learn. All right. It's always lead and learn. All right. So, MindShift Mondays, y'all. Let's get into it. And today is a little different. I'm telling you, I'm in a mix of I know what I need to say, but I need to make sure that I say what I need to say. All right. So, welcome to MindShift Mondays, where we step out of our routine and mundane way of thinking and shift into a higher perspective. We exercise everything else. Why not exercise the way that we think and see things? All right. So, of course, these videos are coming from a heart-based frequency. So, let's connect. All right. And let's dive in. All right. So, with that being said, again, we're dealing with vision and the rose-colored lenses. You know, most of everything that I have, I wrote down because I just been making sure that intentionally I'm writing, because for me, writing is a form of therapy, and it's also a tool. It's also it's what I do. You know, and the more that I embrace that, the more I'm able to release a lot of things that may have been clogged up or just trying to get through. You know, there's a lot of different ways that we may be trying to understand things. We may be trying to perceive things. We may be trying to just overall get into our flow. But how can you get into your flow if you're not doing the thing that you should be utilizing to get into that? All right. So, how do we really see the world? And is the world really our reflection? Or is the world really our reflection? All right. So, of course, when we're dealing with the rose-colored lenses, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar with like rose-colored lenses and exactly what that really means. And so, just to like briefly give a good overview or a decent overview of what that is, basically, rose-colored lenses are seeing something a particular way, but not really seeing the real, like not really having the actual vision for what you see. So it's like the same way how there could be an accident or there could be anything, any type of experience that occurs, and there are plenty of people around, and everybody has their perspective of how they see it, right? But for you, you know, you may have seen a certain piece of it or a certain way of it based off of your own experience, based off of your own traumas, based off of your own perceptions, preconceived notions, things like that. And let me just see if I can give y'all like a clear, let's see, because I didn't think about this earlier, but let me see if I can give y'all a clear uh all right, let me see if I can give y'all a clear. All right, so actually, so rose-colored glass. Now, this is about to take us for a turn. Rose-colored glasses, they say, is pretty much an optimistic perception. This is what the dictionary is saying. All right, they're saying an optimistic perception of something, a positive opinion, seeing something in a positive way, often thinking of it as better than it actually is. Ooh, better than it actually is. Damn, that's that's a little interesting, right? All right, so to break that down and to really get into it, an optimistic perception. Now, is it really bad to have an optimistic perception? No, it really isn't. A lot of people that are optimistic, including myself, you know, majority of the time, the optimism comes from foreseeing exactly what you see, okay? Or seeing through something, you know, being able to see things a certain way so that you can continue to move forward in your journey, in your dedication, to continue to empower yourself, to continue to just see the vision for what it is that you have. Now, of course, this could also lead into what most people would say delusion, possibly, possibly. All right. So these are different things that can be spoke about. Also, depending now, one thing that is also, it doesn't always have to be rose colored lenses, but any type of lens, especially colored lens, can give you a certain type of perception because colors also deal with certain angles and correlate with certain angels. Okay. Now, I'm not going to really go that far with that one right now. That will be something that will be delivered later on. But for the most part, colors play a very huge part in how we see things. And so with rose colored glasses, we are taking an optimistic approach and having an optimistic perception of reality. Now, of course, our experiences have created lenses as well, okay? Depending on the program, and y'all gonna see me look down and read as well because at the end of the day, yeah, like I said, I wrote a lot of things down. And so our experiences have created lenses as well, okay? Depending on the program and how it has been repetitiously stored within our cells, which everything is made of, including sight and having the vision to see clearly, okay? So our experiences create our reality in real time, okay? So, and I'm gonna keep going back to the question, right? And let me make sure, I want to make this a banner as well. The questions that I'm asking. All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. How does... You know, I have been traumatized. I have traumatized myself so much with um with my volume being a certain way, dealing with Bluetooth, which we're gonna make sure that we cut off. So I hope y'all can hear me. I hope nothing is distorted, because that's exactly what we're talking about today as well. So hopefully y'all heard me up until this point, because I do see that my Bluetooth was on or off, well, was on or whatever. But yes, I have traumatized my own self when it comes down to my audio, because I, you just never know. I really don't know. Some people will let you just live stream, and then it won't comment, won't say, "Hey, we can't hear you." And yeah, so hopefully everything is good on y'all end. But yeah, so just to get into continue on, and let me make sure, yeah, that I continue. I put this banner in here because this is the question: how do we really see the world? All right. This is one of our questions, right? How do we really see the world? Okay. And let me do it this way as well. And I appreciate y'all patience. But, we doing things in real time. And there is no perfection to this. Because just as much as I have written this down, I'm also still bringing in information, um, overall. All right, so let's get into it here. All right, there we go. I love this stuff. All right, so how do we really see the world, and or is the world really our reflection? Our reflection, okay? Our reflection. Are we really seeing the world through our own reflection, through our own optimistic perception of having rose-colored lenses, or is it through another type of lens where it's like it's no color, just like my glasses, like it's just straight through? I'm seeing it exactly how it is, and it ain't getting better, and it's getting worse, and I don't know what else to think about that. Like, is it like, what is your perception of the world? How are you really seeing the world? Is it through a program? Is it through someone else's perception? All right, let's keep going though. And I'm going to repeat what we just came through, okay? Rays of colors correlate and represent the correlate with angels, right? They correlate with how we see things, colors, okay? So our experiences have created lenses. The things that we've experienced, the things that we've gone through have created experiences, have created lenses as well. Depending on the program and how it has been repetitiously stored within our cells, because our cells mirror back and are literally, as as you may see online, or as you may have heard, or I know I've heard, are literally eavesdropping on our thoughts and how we are perceiving things so that it can bring that back into our reality. It's just like a mirror effect. It's reflecting back in real time, in synchronicity, exactly what we're feeling, exactly what we're experiencing. So if you wake up, we're just going to keep it easy. If you wake up and you're having you're feeling some type of way, then, of course, hopefully, there will be things that ignite you to, feel better. Maybe someone says something, make you laugh, or, you walk down the street, see something beautiful, something unexpected. Somebody calls you, or you get a special message, or you might read something that just warms your heart and makes you feel a lot better, or you might just go back to sleep. Okay. Sometimes you just need to go back to sleep. You might just need another 15 minutes of rest, or you just get up, you go work out, or you take a walk. It doesn't matter. The whole thing is your perception. If you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, which is another thing, just like rose-colored lenses, when people are like, "Oh, they must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed." Oh, did they really? They might have, you know, because if a person is seeing something a certain way, then that is going to reflect in their reality. Now, of course, if you're being real with yourself, there's a difference between practical and what we'll just use the easy word, just being unrealistic. Okay. Being practical, being unrealistic, being realistic. These things, if you need to handle business, if there are things that you need to do, there are certain things that we are responsible for and accountable for, along with being optimistic, along with having a certain vision, along with having a certain perception. Okay. But again, to rewind back, our experiences have created lenses as well, depending on the program and how it has been repetitiously stored within our cells, which everything is made of, including our sight and having the vision to see clearly. So if your blood, imagine that if your cells, if certain parts, your blood, if it's not as clear, or if it's distorted, if it has debris in it, if it's clotting, or if it's different types of things that are going on within your body, do you not think that that would distort your vision as well, or the way you see reality, or the way that we project things into the world, the way that we reflect things into the world? People are angry, people are bitter, people, are traumatized off of certain experiences from childhood, from any moment in time. And so this is reflecting through all the way through their body, because it's stored in their cells, right? And so it becomes an addiction almost. It also becomes something that they see in their reality. So now, guess what? Their perception of the world has a lens on it. Okay. And it's not necessarily rose colored. I'm just using that as an example because that deals with optimism. But having any type of lens, colored lens, or any type of way that you see things, can distort our reality, especially if someone else is directing the play, if someone else is telling us what we see, versus if you actually go to the scene, you might see something different, right? All right. So when we see people, we see them based on all of our experiences that usually have occurred in the past. Unless we are experiencing someone in the moment for the first time, then all of our previous interactions with people we know. Yeah, I'm turning pages, y'all. It's kind of like Mr. Rogers' bedtime story. All of our previous interactions with people that we know are based on, again, past interactions, emotional memory storage. So the mind remembers how someone makes or made or makes us feel, the impression or impact of what someone else said about someone, a preconceived notion. So if you get ready to go to a restaurant and someone told you, hey, I didn't really have a good experience at that restaurant, or you read the reviews and you like, it's like 4.3, and it's like, it's good reviews, but it's this and this, but you're like, I'm gonna go anyway, and you had a great experience, but then you're hearing other people, they had a bad experience. Is that their perception? Like, this is where you have to be in alignment with your assignment. Okay. If there's somewhere that you're supposed to go, or there's something that you're supposed to see a certain way, then that's going to be your experience. But if we're going off of someone else's feedback loop, or maybe it was like, some things you got to take straight forward. Maybe they did have a bad experience, and maybe that restaurant is, no good, or maybe that day, they just didn't have any good waiters or servers, or whatever the case may be. Any experience, it doesn't just have to be a restaurant, it could be anything. It like preconceived notions. That is when you have intelligence about something already, by hearing it from someone else or experiencing it through someone. Okay, you have a preconceived notion about something because you already are familiar with what you're being presented with. Okay, so you're making an assumption also as well. All right, so we circle back to, how do we truly see the world? And have we upgraded our vision and perception to where we no longer have to deal with a certain level of distortion or delusion? All right, so let's I need to put that down for a minute. Let's get into it right fast. So when dealing with our reality, we can look at the news, right? The news is always perpetuating a certain thing, right? This is the easiest way to know whether or not how you are seeing the world, and or how us as humanity or as human beings are actually reflecting into the world, okay? And what we're experiencing because of our reflections from inside out. Okay. So looking at the news, there's a feedback loop. What are they always telling us? Okay. Of course, you have to be informed on your surroundings and things that are going on. But majority of the time, what is the news telling us? It's telling us about murder and mayhem. It's telling us about the last previous bloodshed. It's almost like they're keeping up their own timeline. It's a timeline, right? So imagine during your regular day, you've had an amazing day, right? Amazing day. And then you're like, you know what? Let me see what the 6 p.m. news said, or let me look on social media and see what's going on. Now, social media timeline is different. You can see some of everything. But if you're just looking at the regular program that we were born into, which was dealing with the news, dealing with society, and a certain type of system that we came into when we were born, right? Then that program is already running. So it's going to give you the perception. It's going to tell you things that it wants you to see, that it wants you to know, so that you can do certain things in the world, and it can kind of carve you up that way, right? But luckily, we have a divine intelligence. We have a God sense. We have the power of the Most High. We have purpose. We have power. We have wisdom. We have discernment. We have discretion. And so these things are the things that will help us not only have a rose-colored lens or have an optimistic perception of how we see the world, but it will also help us come from a better place where we can project into the world what we truly see. When you have a vision for something, are you going to let someone else distort your vision when you truly see something a certain way, or you need to see it a certain way? You have to bring it out a certain way. If you have a play, if you have a project, if you have something on your heart that you have to bring into the world, are you going to continue to look at everybody else and continue to grab information from them, which is relevant when you need to do research, be motivated, be inspired, and surround yourself around the reflections of how you see the world? But eventually it gets to a point where it's like you don't really want to distort your view. You really want to hone in on your vision. So are you going to look at the television? Are you going to look at the news and continue to hear what they're telling you? Or are you going to actually hone in on your news and the vision that you want to bring out into the world? That's the important part of how do we really see the world? What color lenses do you have on? It's either, I know when I go outside, my glasses transition, and sometimes I forget that. I do. I forget. I walk into a building, I forget they may have transitioned back to clear. So I'm seeing things differently, or people are even seeing me differently. But the whole thing is, when you have a vision, how are you going to bring it into the world if there is another program running telling you that something is a certain way? It's the old program. Because in the last video, well, 2 videos ago, we were speaking about being in the new and preparing to how to be in the new and old world, how to transition within the new and old world. Because this season that we're in right now, this Pisces season, or what I call Vesica Pisces season, which deals with balance and creation, divine femininity and unity. Within this season, I'm telling, it's gonna go by in a way that I don't think we've experienced before. And so the reason why is because we are shifting into a whole new timeline, a God time, a higher consciousness, a higher God divine timeline, a whole new paradigm on earth that we as humanity, as the people, are bringing about. So it's no longer be born into the world and then being told this is what you do, chop, 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 chop. It's more so, what are we creating so that when we give birth, when we bring children into this reality, there is already a timeline that we want them to come into and actually develop in versus developing into the same old system, the same old program, the same old thing, right? Because we see the destruction, we see where it's, gotten us this far. And so it's up to us in this timeline to be intentional and make sure that everything that we do is powerful. A lot of people are experiencing a lot of abnormal, supernatural things. And these are the things that we have seldom talked about, even just as subtle as synchronicity, things happening or thinking, of or having the ability to know something before it happens, or, these are things that have happened forever. But how have we been able to express this? How have we been able to bring this about in a conscious way to where we can actually have the dialogue or even have the place or the preparedness to bring people into that timeline, that reality, so that you can actually hone in on those God-given gifts and abilities? A writer may actually be projecting the future, or anything, a creator, a builder, anybody. When you're bringing something into this world, into this 3D world, because we are in another dimension, we are literally shifting into what we would say a fifth dimensional way of thinking. So no more 3D. Of course, we're going to have virtual reality, the metaverse, all of that stuff has to be 3D because it's technology. But we're way bigger than technology. Technology reflects who we are. So then that comes back to, how do we really see the world? Is the world trying to keep up with us, or are we trying to keep up with the world? Okay, like how fast, how often do we have to continue to always keep coming up with the next iPhone, the next this, the next technology, the next this, the next that? When even way back when in history, even dealing with Atlantis, even dealing with all these different places that existed in other timelines, okay? Because I don't even want to say 18,000 and all these millions of years ago, when it was just a timeline ago. It was just a dimension ago, okay? How do we bring into reality the things that are already within us? How do we lead strong with that? All right. So there's a certain level of distortion that comes with being a part of someone else's reality. The distortion, again, is being given messages, right? And recognizing eventually, as you're healing, I would say, or as you're continuing to grow, okay? Because growth is imperative. And when you're growing up, you're growing out, right? When the plant grows, it grows up, it grows out. So there are going to be things that you're releasing, you're moving, you're coming out just like a butterfly, a cocoon. You have to wiggle things off. You have to shake things off, the old remnants of yourself. It's being born into a new body, a new light body, a whole new way of being. And so that is exactly where we are, and that's exactly where we're heading. And so with that, again, the distortions will make you think that you're not making progress. The distortions will make you think that you lost something. Now, of course, when it comes down to certain specific things, and that this always has to be cleared up, because I know that there are people that are always like, yeah, but when you lose somebody, when we're losing people, yes, that is happening, right? But there there is also a certain level within that program, within this program, that has created a culture of death. Okay, it has created a death culture, and we see it all around us, right? Everything that surrounds us, if it's a beautiful day, then in their world, there's bloodshed and mayhem. All right. Metro Boomin came out with an album and it said heroes and villains, and the city was on fire. And then next thing you know, the city was on fire, and they had a protest, and they were trying to ignite. Okay, they were trying to ignite the reality of a program where people are out here in the streets. But we've become a little, which is, it's interesting because it's like it's a good thing, it's a bad, it can go both ways, because you want people to be alive to the changes, but at the same time, the old program will have us out here doing things outside of ourselves, and then still not making progress. Versus if we really get into it and say, all right, how do I code this program? How do I create a new timeline? How do I bring about the gifts that are in me? If God gave you something that you need to do, go ahead and get into the research. Go ahead and get into it. You want to bring it out into the world so that you can see your reflection in the world. Because right now, what's being reflected in the world is pain, envy, greed, all of these different things because of the pain, the trauma, eons and eons of trauma. All right. So generational trauma. All right. And it just continues to evolve itself, as long as we don't actually bring out the true reflection, the true program, and what's really supposed to be here on earth. How do you bring heaven? Why do they say heaven on earth? Why is that a thing? Heaven on earth. Okay? Why is heaven on earth a thing? It's a saying because it's real. It's the same because it can be created. It's just like this paint. It's just like this painting right here. That came out of a vision. It came out of something. This microphone, it came out of something. So when we bring things down from within us and we receive the vision for something to bring into the world, then what does that look like? We are in a time where art is going to be the presidents of our time. We are in a time where taking time for yourself is going to be the presidents of your time, because you're going to have to nurture yourself in order to be exactly who you need to be in this world. Like, it's no longer not taking time for yourself to really listen to your body. And when you listen to your body, you're listening to the Most High. You're listening to God. You're being intuitive. You're being guided to do certain things. All right. So again, we're coming back to, how do we really see the world? And is the world really our reflection? Because how are you reflecting in the world? What are your cells actually saying that you said? Okay. And this can show up in so many ways, right? So let me get more into this. So of course, you can deal with distortions, we can deal with delusions, we can deal with so many different things. But programs since birth, as water programs, let me see, sometimes I can't write, y'all. But programs since birth, right? We've experienced programs since birth because we were in the womb, and the womb was the waters, right? The first waters, the primordial waters. Imagine how potent water is. Programmable, right? Water is programmable. That's why you got Avatar, the way of the water, right? Water is programmable. You can go on YouTube and look up how to program water, and you will find a million videos on how you can program water and how that can actually affect you on a cellular level, because as we know, we are made up of 75% water, and the earth is the same way. Why are we reflecting the earth? Why are we, hopefully I'm not screaming. Why are we reflecting the same aspects of the earth? Because we are here to bring about a certain thing, a certain program. So again, when we are in the womb, we are being programmed, okay, in the water through our cells. And that's how things are being created. Imagine that process. If you sat back and just closed your eyes and imagined that process, the birth of a new self, the birth of a you, the birth of anything coming through the womb, right? And you're in this space, this dark space, just like growth, okay? It may look like you're never getting out of there. And you actually might get comfortable there, might not want to come out. But you're being programmed the entire time. But what type of programming are you receiving? You know, the mother is the first teacher in the womb. What type of program are you receiving? Okay. So not only do we have to deal with that first program, but then we also have to deal with the distortions of the reality of what the mother is experiencing. Okay. And that's a whole nother aspect. And then you come out. Now you got to deal with the fact that the people that are around you, you know, you're being stimulated by all these different things that you heard, that you were programmed by in the womb. You heard these voices. You heard this person visit, you know, while your mother was in the womb. You heard your mother cry when this person was around. You heard this, you felt this anger, okay? You felt this anger, you know, when your mother felt it. So you tasted this food when you were in the womb. So this about to be your favorite food. It's like it gets down to those details of how we reflect in the world based on the original places and spaces of our mind, of our perception and how we see things. All right. So as we go forward in this, it's like how I continually just want to say, how do you really see the world? You know, like I said, you can go through an experience where, you know, you may have seemed like you lost a job, right? It may seem like you may have, you know, lost this, that, and the other, and you may have. And it's not to downplay an experience and how someone experiences their experience, okay? Because again, you know, if a person is facing a detriment that removes them from their home, or, you know, anything that was secure, then of course, you know, that's a certain type of timeline. But the thing is that we also have to be responsible for and accountable for is our actions, our choices, and the lessons that we have to learn in order for us to progress. We've all had to experience lessons that have either progressed us or regressed us based off of our choices. Did you experience the lesson and do better, or did you experience the lesson and regress? Okay, that is the true evolution of how you're seeing yourself in the world and how you're experiencing things. All right, because here we go again back into preconceived notions. Here we go back again into distortions and delusions. Okay, so you have to be practical when it comes down to how you're going to get out of a situation, or how are you going to get into a situation. You know, like, how are you going to quantum leap into that new shift in a new reality into what it is that you truly want to do? You take action. You take major action. You hold yourself accountable. You bring about the discipline for the changes that are needed. Okay. I mean, look, we all have to deal with ourselves. We all have certain aspects of ourselves where it's just like, you know what? We did our best today. All right. You're going to count your blessings. You're going to recognize exactly, hey, look, I did this thing today. I had a list of things. I did about 5 of them. And you know what? I'm proud of that. Okay. I know I can do more. We're going to continue to get better every single day. All right. You want powerful moments. You want beautiful moments, because that's what you want to project into the world, into your experiences, so that you can welcome in and receive exactly what it is that God has for you, that the Most High has for you, that your heart wants to project into the world. Okay. Because we are projectors. I wouldn't say everybody is a projector, but at the end of the day, we are, because through our consciousness, through how we think, through how we speak, through how we move, every action that we take, whether you're bending down to pick something up, whether something, the wind is blowing, every single movement has an exchange. Okay. And when we realize the power that surrounds us, we'll realize that we literally are heaven on earth. But it's up to us to bring that about. And what does that actually look like? And how is that really supposed to be experienced? All right. So, again, all right. So, we come ready with a vision and a purpose. Once we come out the womb, once we come out our mother's waters, once we dock, okay, and we go ahead and we receive new information as soon as we come out, but we come here ready with a vision and a purpose. Okay. So once we become of the world and in it, we began a subtle overloading program of how to see everything through the eyes of someone else telling us how to see things. Have you ever really taken time for yourself? Or I'm asking the question because these are the experiences that I've already had, and that I continue to have, or whatever, because healing and releasing things and coming more into yourself and building a continual relationship with the Most High, of yourself, with the source of all things, with God, with whoever, whatever it is, of how you nurture yourself and how you were brought into this world, building that, continuing to build that relationship is pretty much imperative. Because again, how are you seeing everything? Is it through the eyes of someone else telling us how to see things, or is it truly through the vision that you have? A lot of people speak about the pineal gland, about the third eye, about all these different ways that we can see our cells, our skin, like everything on us has an ability, has a sense. Okay. So right now, at best, are you being told how to do things through the news, through social media, through your parents, family, friends, and most of all, through yourself? Are you really taking time to harness that communication, taking time to go into meditation? Doesn't look the same for everyone. You can do a sleeping, you can wake up and, you just really honor the fact that you are a little bit more sleepy, that you feel like it. You might feel a little bit more heaviness. Sometimes it's easier to just get up, go and do a quick little walk or workout or something and energize yourself. But sometimes you might just need to lay back down, because you may be feeling something. You may be receiving notifications. This is my favorite part about upgrading, or about actually coming into the intelligence of the body, is that we actually receive notifications when things are shifting in our lives. And it comes through the body, it comes through our mind, it comes through our heart, it comes through our soul, it comes through our energy. But we're not able to honor it because we have so many things going on that we have to keep up with, that we got to be at work on time, we got to be here on time, you got to do this, this, that, and the other. So sometimes we may be maneuvering in a way that doesn't allow us to take that time. So that's why you have to carve out the time, you have to dedicate the time, you have to create the time so that you can have time for yourself to bring out the vision of how you need to see the world and how you want to reflect in the world. All right. So carving out that time could just be 20 minutes a day. When I first started meditating, I started with I started with 10 minutes. But eventually I got comfortable with knowing what 10 minutes felt like without a timer or without a clock. And I decided, you know what? I like 20 minutes. And I think I moved to 20 minutes. I forgot the type of meditation it was, but basically I moved to 20 minutes, and I know what 20 minutes feels like. And I like 20 minutes because it's just enough to get everything in sync. And like I said, meditation doesn't look the same for everybody. You might like writing, you might like waking up and just sitting and just speaking your day into existence, or just sitting there, and just drinking water and just coming into the day and saying, taking deep breaths. You have to find your way, the way that's right for you. Journaling is a great way of doing a specific type of meditation, but it also helps you to release things. A lot of people may not be able to make it to a therapist or make it to a doctor. So let your pen do the talking for you. All right. Write it out, express it as much as you can. Now, a lot of people may be dealing with different things mentally that may not be able to be taken care of through just a journal, through just a writing, through just a meditation. You may actually do need a therapist. You may actually do need to take time and go see someone, go check on your wellness and go do certain things. All right. But for the most part, we have to carve out that time so that we can honor our vision and our purpose and what we're truly here to do. All right. And so, again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is definitely MindShift Monday. This is the beginning of, if you're astrological like that, then, in my terms, I say Vesica Pisces season, because after this season, the world, Pisces is the 13th, 12th sign or whatnot. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It doesn't seem that way, but it actually is. It's the last sign of the zodiac. And so it makes sense, because then we go into a new season at the end, which is the spring equinox. And so that's when things start blooming and, coming about. That brings about new life, new ambience of seeing things, new lenses. You've done a lot to get to this point. Your growth is imperative for that point specifically. So that's a good timeline to even write out, to hold yourself accountable, from now up until spring equinox, or when spring kicks off. How dedicated or how determined are you to say, it's some things I know I need to work out. So I'm going to dedicate at least 5 minutes every day to make sure that I just, recall my day and to see what I saw in my day, even if it was the smallest thing. Like today, I went walking, and I was on one side of the street, and I seen someone walking toward me with their dog, and the sidewalk was a little narrow. And I was just like, it'll just be better for me to just switch sides. I just felt the inkling to just, switch sides and change the side that I was walking on. So I decided to cross the street. And as I'm crossing the street, I look down and I see something shining, and it was a quarter. Now I know it's a quarter million. But I'm just saying that I saw a quarter million. No, I'm just saying I saw a quarter million. I saw a quarter because I appreciate everything. But the whole thing is, as soon as I shifted, right, it could have happened two ways. And I don't know. Sometimes it's not up to you to find out how something could have happened, right? Or what would have been. Sometimes it's better for you to just go ahead and shift, right? So I'm walking towards these people immediately in my senses and in my perception. I'm like, nah, it'll just be better for me to switch sides. I'm receiving that. All right. I switched sides immediately. It's almost like I was paid to change sides. And I walk over to the next side of the street and I'm greeted. I pass some people and they're smiling and they're greeting me. And then I pass somebody else and they're acknowledging. And I'm just like, those are the things that we have to, those subtle, small experiences are the things that we have to pay attention to really understand and see the reflections of ourselves in reality and how God really wants us to see things. I could have kept walking, and because hey, the world is, it's a strange world, all right? That's why sometimes you gotta have rose colored lenses. You gotta put on a certain lens just to be like, all right, I know how I'm gonna navigate through this one. But I could have kept walking straight on that side of the sidewalk, and it could have been a cool little, somebody just walking by with their dog, and I'm just walking on the right side. Or it could have been something where it could have been anything. But for the most part, I didn't have to stay to see it. I didn't have to stay. I recognized it, I honored it. Bop, 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 across the street, got paid across the street, bam. That's how I'm seeing it. I got paid across the street. If I wouldn't have decided to cross the street, I wouldn't have had a quarter. That's the quarter I didn't have. Okay. So I'm grateful, because there's more to come. Obviously, if it was just as simple as me to just cross over the street, to shift powerfully right then. And it's subtle things like that that will, I don't want to say test you, but there are subtle things that can happen in your reality that will say, are you paying attention? Are you listening? Because you're being guided. So are you listening to your guidance? So that's why it's important to carve out that time with yourself, with the Most High, with that connection that you have to your source of creation. So that way your guidance can be clear, just like navigation. When you're trying to get somewhere, you needed to be loud and clear, let's go, because it's somewhere you need to be. It's something that you need to do. It's something that you need to bring out into the world. Are you ready to do it? So I'm gonna be wrapping this up because I think this is the longest live that I've done, and I really, really appreciate y'all at 10:33 p.m. Or if you're a replay viewer, I appreciate you for making it this far. I appreciate y'all for liking, sharing, subscribing, or just being a part of this live stream. And of course, if you're in a whole nother part of the world and it's not even on the Eastern Standard Time of Americas, and you may be 3 hours out, you may be 5 hours out, you might even be ahead of time, okay? You might be 5 hours ahead, all right? I still appreciate you as well. All right, so right now we're coming into being empowered and commanding our reality, okay? So how do we do that? The same way that I just said, being able to carve out that time and take the time out and say, I know what I want to do. Am I willing to do it? Because you have to be real with yourself and you have to meet yourself exactly where you are. The same way how we have to meet people where they are, or you recognize where people are, you like, okay, this might be all right, or nah, I think I'm gonna hang with them one time and that's it. But the distortion of vision, this distortion of true vision, seeing our way through into an endless place that begins once we have shifted our minds, our energy into our purpose. When you shift your mind and your energy into your purpose, not only are you going to see the world how you need to see it, but you're also going to reflect into the world exactly what needs to be into the world, what needs to be in the world. Because now you're on purpose. Now you're moving powerfully because you're seeing with your purpose. Everything you do has something to do with your purpose. Now, and that some people that might sound a little boring. It's like everything I do got to be about my purpose. I'm going to the restaurant to eat. In my purpose, purpose is not just like that. Like, it's not like some little thing that is just like a job or something. It's literally an essence of your being. It's why you're here. So your purpose could be easily like how I just shifted and crossed the street, picked up a little coin, and then was greeted by some people. Maybe somebody needed to see your face. Maybe they needed to recognize, maybe you needed to see someone to recognize the beauty in your day. Maybe you need to go somewhere on purpose. Maybe you need to do a thing on purpose. Maybe you need to wake up on purpose. Maybe you need to open your eyes on purpose. Maybe you need to walk on down the street on purpose, exercise on purpose, eat on purpose, take care of yourself on purpose. Purpose is not just a job. It's not just a thing that you're doing because I was called here to do a purpose. No. What? No. Your purpose, okay, is you moving powerfully in the presence of your divine being, your divinity, the reason why you're on earth. I think that it is always imperative to remind people that we are on a earth, okay? We are beings on a earth. We came here out of a womb. We are on a earth, okay? So when you recognize that, you've got to be here for some reason. Because why would you choose to come to a place in space where you're just literally just being projected into these different programs, these different realities, these different timelines? It's just so much going on all the time. Like eventually it comes to a point where you move powerfully on purpose. You do things on purpose, okay? Because once you come into that alignment with yourself, again, with the most high of yourself, then it's like you're in alignment with your assignment. So it could be as easy as, again, you might decide, I'm hungry, I want to go here. And I'm talking about food because obviously I like food. So, and everybody, food is a love language. I found that out. Food is a really big love language. So, you may decide you want to go somewhere and you realize you get your food, you might meet some people in line, you might just have a really good experience while you're there, and you like, dang. But then something else happens, like in a very positive way. You like, dang, this is what I came here for? I didn't even come here for the food. I really came here for this. Has that ever happened to you? Where you went somewhere for something, right? And you end up doing a whole nother thing, or meeting people, or having an experience that literally just empowered you in a way to be like, I see you, God, or I see y'all angels and my ancestors. I see what y'all doing out here. Okay. Like these are the experiences that we have to come into. These are the experiences that they don't want us to come into. And I'm going to use the words they don't want us to, because yes, the old program, the old world that we're shifting out of does not want us to experience the potency of our gifts and bring that about, because it creates destruction. Because before peace comes destruction. All right. When you're healing yourself, you're literally creating havoc in the world, right? And I know that seems a little oxymoronish, like it seems a little I don't know, it seems weird, because it's like, well, I'm healing, that's a good thing. Yes, but imagine all the things that you're healing in your blood, through your cells, through your DNA. Spiritually, it's not just you by yourself, because when you heal, someone else in your family heals as well. When you grow, there's a glitch in the system, right? So imagine every time something happens in the world, there's a glitch in the system. Every time someone purges or releases something that is in their energy field, or within their mind, or within their soul, or within their heart, that allows room for them to grow and for them to be on purpose. Imagine what happens in the world. Earthquakes, volcanoes erupting. The earth is doing the same thing, right? The earth. Okay. And phenomenons happening, But I also want to be grounded and practical, and also say that it was all this yeehaw, all this talk, before the Super Bowl, where they just shooting stuff out the sky. Like, how does this all of a sudden happen? All of a sudden, we got a balloon in the sky from China. Then another country got a balloon, Mexico. Then Canada got a balloon. Then Australia, all these places. Now all of a sudden, balloons popping up. And not only that, but then the Eagles get shot down. So all I'm seeing is, keep your vision high, and stay grounded as well. See things exactly how you need to see them, so that you can bring it into the world, and don't let them shoot you down. All right. Don't let nobody shoot you down, because this is your vision. This is what you have to bring into the world. This is what you have to honor on purpose. Okay. So don't let your vision get shot down. All right. Just a little, let's see, we almost do, y'all. I swear. We almost do. All right. So utilizing that to progress into, right. So we're utilizing the same energy to progress into higher dimensions of seeing our way through. All right. Now it's just like, example, always a great example, Harriet Tubman. How are you going to see your way to and through something if you don't have the vision and you don't have the faith? Okay, and the discernment and the discretion and the wisdom to be guided along the way. Obviously, there is help, there is support along the way. You're going to lose people along the way, or people may catch up and circle back with you along the way, hopefully in a better form, in a better light, or just for a second, just to say, hey, but for the most part, do you have the faith to move forward to where you can pave or carve the way, or even be supportive of the people that are doing it already, or find a group, find, the accountability to be able to say, hey, this is something I would like to be a part of. Sometimes you can become a part of something. You don't have to necessarily be totally active until you're ready. You can come into these different things. You can create your own thing. It's just so many different ways, right? So seeing things happening. Okay, yeah, let's get into this right fast. All right, y'all. So seeing things happening for you and not against you. And I'm not gonna do this whole thing because all right, I'm gonna do it. This is the whole little session right here, y'all. For real. It ain't gonna be that long, but let's get into it. So seeing things happening for you and not against you. If it's happening for you, then you are able to see the miracle in something. If it's happening for you, then you appreciate being able to receive the lesson or experience to upgrade yourself, whether energetically, emotionally, physically, through wellness, mentally, spiritually, etc. If it's happening for you, then you can see through the distortion of emotions or preconceived notions that it's all bad when really it's all good. If it's happening against you, then you may see the blocks within yourself that bring up the preconceived emotions that say this is terrible, what is happening. And when I say blocks, if it's happening against you and you may see the blocks within yourself that bring up preconceived emotions, we're not even talking about notions anymore. It's preconceived emotions. All right. These blocks are still dealing with ourselves, it's still dealing with our vision and our lenses and the past experiences and how we experience things now in the present moment of what it is that's going on. So let's just get through that one more time. If it's happening against you, then you may see the blocks within yourself. And I'm going to add to be cleared away, things that may need to be addressed and cleared away so that your vision is no longer distorted. Okay? And you can see it for what it truly is, which is the flip side of seeing things happening for you versus against you, right? So they're bringing up preconceived emotions that say, this is terrible, what is happening? Now, of course, if it is something happening that is actually terrible in the 3D world on Earth, where anything obviously goes, everything goes on Earth. Obviously, we can look at movies, we can look at the news, we can look at some of everything and find out that anything goes on Earth. Obviously, right? So then, yes, that experience will create a mental, emotional block of protection to anticipate or notify if the senses perceive it to happen or look like it can happen again. So certain things happen in our experience where it actually may be something that we are experiencing that is against us, or like crimes against humanity or against ourselves. And so our mental emotional fields and our energy and for our own protection, our senses will be able to perceive things so that it doesn't happen again. Or if it does, we're ready for what needs to occur. All right. So, for example, if someone has been in a fight before and possibly got hit and did not see it coming, then on the next go round, the body will have stored memory within the cellular membrane of the body and energy to be able to recognize it before it happens again. Hopefully, hopefully. So if it happens against you, no matter the atrocity, we as human beings have to overcome or begin to overcome the experience and be empowered to initiate a new connection, a new experience, a new reference point of emotions, thoughts, feelings, in order for what was happening against you to turn into the vision of it happening for you. All right. Now that's major. All right. That's major. Imagine if that's how we were able to transform ourselves and transmute things and make a decision to move powerfully. Healing takes a while. I'm not saying this is an overnight express train, but there is a train. There is a way. There is a mode of transportation. There is a walk. It could just, like I said, it could be as easy as changing sides of the street. Okay. And being compensated for your efforts. Okay. So we always talk about, and I don't think I stopped. And we're going to, after this is pretty much the top of the top. So we always talk about what a privilege it is to have the material things, which is fantastic and phenomenal, of how we see things, since they came from within us, right? And from the earth, okay? Everything we have, even me doing this live stream, every single piece of whatever it takes to create this live stream, including this laptop, including the wires, including the camera, everything, every single piece of it, for me to be right here live streaming, came from a mind of a person, and it also came from the earth. All right. So that is a pure reflection in the world. All right. But more than anything, it's a privilege to be able to embrace the things that we normally don't think is a privilege. Like being able to wake up, breathe, blink, and see things, experience ourselves, actually use our limbs, our everything, okay? Every piece of ourselves, taking time for yourself, walking out on the street, hearing the birds chirp, seeing the flowers, the trees, really being here now to say powerfully that you are moving on purpose, okay? So again, man, y'all, I appreciate you for tuning in to MindShift Monday. Of course, again, if you are on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Again, we dealt with vision, rose-colored lenses, and how do we really see the world. And I am just enthused and empowered to be able to bring this information this way. Of course, if you are not familiar with the Purpose Protection Program, it is a universal accountability group that I have created so that we can so that we can really bring things into perspective when it comes down to us really being on purpose and doing exactly what we need to do. And sometimes you just really need to surround yourself with people that are ready to move in that direction. All right. So I'm going to drop the link. Yeah, this is right here. I'm going to drop the link into the comments. We are on a platform called Gilded, which is similar to Discord. But I'm really big on words, and I would prefer to build in a guild versus in Discord. Okay, even though both of them are actually great platforms. I mean, you can try and type that in, but it'll be in the comments. Let me give y'all the other link as well. All right. So this is the other link as well. You can join. There is a slight, a few questions that you have to answer because I don't really, this is not a program where we're just going to come in and, I mean, it's going to be beautiful. Like there are so many things that are about to develop with Leading While Learning, with the Purpose Protection Program. But more than anything, I'd want to make sure that, let me show y'all. Yeah, there you go. I want to make sure that we are being intentional and that we are really, really building with each other and being supportive of and realistic and practical. All right. And providing a safe space for people to say, hey, you know what? I really want to do something. I may not have too many people around that are in support of this, but I want to move in this direction. How do I do this? And so we will have programs set up specifically where you can go through, because the biggest thing is effective self-leadership, how to guide yourself, how to be in guidance, and just how to move powerfully in your purpose. Like, that's the biggest thing, leading and learning. Lead strong and learn with your energy, all right? And earn, okay? Because we're gonna make money, guys, okay? So with that being said, again, I appreciate y'all so much. And I really hope y'all had a great day. Hope y'all have a powerful, beautiful week. No matter what, just find something beautiful in whatever is happening, and be blessed. And we are about to be out of here. All right, so thank y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. All right.
Everybody wanna go and get it. Go and get that check. 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 I gotta have them bands, yeah, running. If you ain't getting to the money, you ain't feel like us. Go and get that check. 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 I gotta have them bands, yeah, running. If you ain't getting to the money, you ain't feel like us.
Street cred like Boosie, iced out like Gucci, free bands like Future. Got a million in the money counter. Feel like baby I'm a island. Feel like P, it ain't no limit. Get them racks in, then we spin it. Run them bands like a marathon. Home run like I'm Barry Bonds. Young nigga keep stance with them. Every day is a trap-a-thon. Polo, my rap lawn. Rolex, my right arm. Call the plug up for the thing. This time no stepped on.
Go and get that check. 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 I gotta have them bands, yeah, running up. If you ain't getting to the money, you ain't feel like us. Go and get that check. 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 I gotta have them bands, yeah, running up. If you ain't getting to the money, you ain't feel like us. I'm on mean lean, carousel, fuck it. Headed to Peru, so you know I love it. Making wealth every day, so you know I gotta pray. Got the universe speaking in a major way. I just got off, I pray today. If you want it, you can get it, gotta make a way. Tryna hop on the plane, get some foreign money. I've been hungry, so I'm just trying to fill my plate. You always thinking about it now. I talk a whole like cash, you know, get it back and shit. So you travel shit, rap back, rapping shit. And your house is immaculate. See my DNA, I'm focused. Olympian money, I run to the jail. Destination, everybody wanna go and get it. Tryna finesse,